Out here in the wild, we know one thing for sure. Survival's about adapting. It's about being able to read the signs, to understand the subtle shifts in the environment, and to respond accordingly. The wilderness is unforgiving, but it teaches us resilience and resourcefulness. Every step we take, every decision we make, is a testament to our ability to survive against the odds. It's about understanding the rules of the game, the unspoken laws that govern our existence. These rules are not written in any book. They are learned through experience, through trial and error. They are the lessons passed down from those who came before us, the wisdom of the ages, even when the game changes. The world is in a constant state of flux, and what worked yesterday might not work today. We must be vigilant, always ready to adapt to new circumstances. The changing weather, the shifting landscapes, all serve as reminders that nothing is permanent. In the wilderness, these rules are the laws of nature. They dictate how we interact with the world around us, how we find food, water, and shelter. They are the principles that ensure our survival, the guidelines that keep us alive. But in a crisis, in a world turned upside down, the rules change again. The familiar becomes unfamiliar, and the predictable becomes unpredictable. We are forced to navigate a new reality, one where the old rules no longer apply. They become the laws of demand and supply. In this new world, the value of things is determined by their scarcity. What was once taken for granted becomes a precious commodity. The dynamics of survival shift, and we must learn to adapt once more. Demand is simple. It's what people want, what they need to survive. It's the basic necessities that we often overlook in times of abundance. But in a crisis, these necessities become the focal point of our existence. Food, water, shelter, the basics. These are the things that sustain us, that keep us going when everything else falls apart. They are the foundation of our survival, the building blocks of our resilience. Supply is what's left, the resources available to meet those needs. It's the remnants of what once was, the fragments of a world that has changed beyond recognition. It's the challenge of making do with what we have, of finding creative solutions to meet our needs. Understanding this dynamic, how it affects price, can mean the difference between life and death. It's the knowledge that empowers us, that gives us the edge in a world where every decision counts. It's the ability to see the bigger picture, to understand the forces at play. This isn't just theory. This is survival. It's the reality we face, the challenges we must overcome. It's the test of our resilience, our resourcefulness, our ability to adapt and thrive in the face of adversity. Remember, knowledge is your most valuable tool. It's the key to survival, the weapon that gives you the power to navigate a world in flux. It's the wisdom that guides you, the insight that helps you make the right choices. In the end, it's what will keep you alive. Let's say you're stranded in the desert. Your canteen is empty. The sun beats down relentlessly and the heat is unbearable. You can feel your throat drying up, your lips cracking, and your energy draining away with every passing second. You're desperate for water. That desperation is demand. You start to realize that water, something you once took for granted, is now the most precious thing in the world to you. You'd give anything for just a sip, a drop, to quench your thirst. The scarcer water gets, the more valuable it becomes. It's a simple concept, but in moments of extreme scarcity, it becomes painfully clear. You start to think about all the times you wasted water, and now you do anything to have it back. The more you're willing to trade, to sacrifice, to get it. You'd give up your most prized possessions, your money, your jewelry, anything just to get a few precious drops of water. This is the essence of demand driven by scarcity. Think about a city after a disaster. Food is running low. The shelves in the supermarkets are empty and people are starting to panic. The once bustling city is now a place of fear and uncertainty. People are scared. What happens? They start to hoard whatever food they can find. They line up for hours hoping to get a loaf of bread or a can of beans. The sense of community starts to break down as everyone looks out for themselves. The demand for food skyrockets. People who never thought twice about their next meal are now willing to fight for it. The value of food increases exponentially as it becomes more and more scarce. People will do anything for a scrap of bread, a can of beans. They barter, they trade, they even resort to violence just to secure a meal for themselves and their families. The desperation is palpable and it drives the demand through the roof. That's demand in action. It's a powerful force that can drive people to do extraordinary things, both good and bad. It shows the lengths to which people will go when something they need becomes scarce. Remember this, scarcity drives demand. It's a fundamental principle that applies to everything, from water in the desert to food in a disaster-struck city. When something is in short supply, its value increases, and people will go to great lengths to obtain it. The less there is, the more people want it. It's a simple rule, but it's one that governs so much of our behavior. Whether it's a basic necessity like water or food, or something more abstract like time or attention, scarcity makes us value things more. It's a simple rule, but out here it's the law. In times of scarcity, the true value of things becomes apparent, and we are reminded of what really matters. So, next time you find yourself taking something for granted, remember the power of scarcity and the demand it creates. Now, picture this. You've stumbled upon a hidden spring in that same desert. You have an abundance of water. You control the supply. The fewer sources of water, the more valuable your supply becomes. Think about those cans of food after the disaster. Someone who had the foresight to stockpile, to prepare, they now control a vital supply. They hold the key to survival. Understanding supply is crucial. It's about planning ahead, about being resourceful, about knowing the value of what you have. Price is the bridge between demand and supply. When demand is high and supply is low, prices go up. That bottle of water in the desert, it's no longer just water, it's survival, and it comes at a price. In a collapsed world, money might mean nothing. Price becomes what you're willing to trade, your skills, your labor, maybe even your last possessions. Remember, price fluctuates. It's a dance between what people need and what's available. It's a brutal negotiation, and the stakes are higher than ever. Imagine the unthinkable, a global catastrophe. Cities lie in ruins, communication networks are down, the old world is gone. This is our new reality. In this chaos, the laws of demand and supply become the rules of engagement. Those who prepared, who understood the importance of stockpiling food, water, and essential supplies, they have a head start. They hold a valuable supply in a world consumed by demand. This isn't a movie. This is about understanding the potential consequences, about being ready for anything. Section 6. Underground markets, trading for your life. In the absence of traditional markets, new ones emerge. When society collapses, the infrastructure we once relied on crumbles. Supermarkets, pharmacies, and convenience stores become relics of the past. In their place, a new kind of economy takes root, one driven by necessity and survival instincts. Underground exchanges, hidden barter systems, places where survivors trade for what they need. These markets are often hidden from plain sight, operating in the shadows to avoid unwanted attention. Here, the currency isn't paper money or digital transactions. It's tangible items and skills that hold real value in a world where survival is paramount. A jar of clean water for a warm blanket. In these underground markets, every item has a price, and that price is often steep. Clean water, once taken for granted, becomes a precious commodity. A warm blanket, essential for cold nights, can mean the difference between life and death. Medical supplies for a working weapon. Desperate times, desperate measures. The stakes are high, and the trades are often desperate. Medical supplies, crucial for treating injuries and illnesses, are exchanged for weapons, necessary for protection and hunting. Each trade is a calculated risk, a gamble for survival. Those who diversified their skills pre-apocalypse, they become valuable assets. In this new world, skills that were once hobbies or secondary talents become invaluable. The ability to fix a broken engine, to sew a torn garment, or to identify edible plants can make someone a sought-after ally. A doctor, a mechanic, someone who can grow food, they hold a different kind of currency. Their expertise and knowledge are traded for goods and services, making them indispensable in a community where every skill counts. A doctor can save lives, a mechanic can keep essential vehicles running, and a farmer can provide sustenance. Resourcefulness becomes your greatest asset. In a world stripped of its conveniences, the ability to adapt and innovate is crucial. Those who can create tools from scrap, who can find solutions with limited resources, are the ones who thrive. It's not just about what you have, but what you can offer, what you can create. In a world stripped bare, the true currency of this new world is resourcefulness, adaptability, and the ability to see potential where others see only ruin. In these underground markets, the most valuable trade is often the exchange of knowledge and skills, the building blocks of a new society. Section 7. The value of food and water. More precious than gold. Remember that canteen in the desert, that desperation for a single drop of water? Now magnify that 1,000 times. Access to clean water and nutritious food are non-negotiable. They are the ultimate commodities. Those who planned ahead, who learned how to purify water, who cultivated sustainable food sources, they hold the keys to life itself. Forget gold and diamonds. In this new world, seeds, water filters, and knowledge of edible plants are the true treasures. Section 8. Shelter and security. Finding safety in a broken world. Shelter takes on a whole new meaning. It's not just about comfort, it's about protection from the elements, from danger, from the unknown. A secure shelter becomes a highly sought-after commodity. Those who can fortify, who can offer safety and security, they hold immense bargaining power. Strength in numbers becomes paramount. Community cooperation, shared skills and resources, these are the foundations of survival in a post-apocalyptic world. Section 9. Adapting and overcoming using your knowledge to survive. The world has changed, but one thing remains constant: the human will to survive. By understanding the forces at play, demand, supply, and the volatile nature of price, you gain a crucial advantage. This knowledge is power. It allows you to make informed decisions, to trade effectively, to anticipate needs, and adapt to changing circumstances. Remember, survival is not about brute force. It's about resilience, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of the world around you. The world may have changed, but the law of survival remains: adapt or perish.